Hello and welcome to Newsfeed, your daily dose of what people are talking about online, from news stories to what's trending. Travel is back in full swing, but as tourists flock to beaches and other destinations, some globetrotters seem to have forgotten that good manners are as essential as a passport stamp. We've all seen it: the excessive drinking, the high decibel laughter, the disregard for local customs, and the litter left behind. Lara explains why tourists are behaving worse than ever before.
Ancient sites weathered centuries, but can they withstand modern tourists? Vandalism, recklessness, and narcissism? Summer's here, and it's the season of mischief. In Rome, a British tourist carved his mark on the Colosseum. Another jumped into the Fontana dei Trevi, while a 150-year-old statue paid the price in northern Italy. Then there are those who taunt wildlife and harass Hawaii dolphins. And who thought getting naked during a sacred dance in Bali was a good idea? Or climbing to the top of a Mayan temple and dancing? The universal naughty tourist anecdotes just keep piling up, leaving us wondering, are travelers getting worse? Commentators agree on one thing: tourists often go rogue. Some say it's the rising entitlement. Paying for vacations breed a my money, my rules mentality, encouraging people to forget manners and norms. Others pin the blame on the pandemic.
When travel restrictions were lifted, tourists came pouring back into places like Europe and Asia after being cooped up for so long, seemingly forgetting their manners at home. Psychological experts say that when you're surrounded by strangers who you'll never see again in a foreign place, that sense of anonymity can make people feel more inclined to act on bad behaviors that they wouldn't otherwise.
Social media is also under scrutiny. Misbehavior spreads faster online, fueled by our thirst for content. And the promise of going viral drives some wild antics. Social platforms can even inspire a main character mindset.
You can be a more respectful guest in the countries you visit by researching local customs and laws. For instance, you can learn what types of clothing are appropriate for the sites you're staying, learn a little bit of the language, even just a few common words or phrases, and read up on environmental practices so you can do your best to protect the local ecosystem. Traveling can be an incredible way to grow and learn, so if you're taking a trip sometime soon, doing your homework beforehand is a small way to show respect for the place you're traveling to.
Countries have their own ways of tackling rowdy tourists, but money talks. And with the global travel industry booming, it's unlikely manners will catch up.
Travel journalist Simon Calder joins us now from Copenhagen. Simon, thanks so much for joining us today. So what do you think is fueling what appears to be a bizarre uptick in tourist behavior?
Well, that was a great report, and it summed up some of the major problems that we are seeing at the moment around the world, whether it's in Europe, in beautiful places like Copenhagen, Amsterdam, Venice, or more worldwide. And it really comes down to a couple of things. We heard about the idea of anonymity. I think there's something more to it, which is that you get this sense: I'm on vacation, I can do what I like. Certainly, there's a lot of the drinking culture associated with tourism, I'm afraid, is a contributing factor to a lot of the misbehavior. And I guess there's also the thought, I'm not going to get caught because ultimately they need the tourism here. And so therefore we can do what we like. As you were saying in the report, my money, my rules. Of course, that is not an appropriate thing to do in any circumstance when you're a guest in somebody else's country.
We're also seeing a post-pandemic travel boom now. Could this be partly to blame, as in people had been cooped up for so long, it's almost as if they don't know how to act or behave when on holiday?
Oh, sure. Well, it's a question of the return at very large scale of tourism. And arguably, there are probably more people in many circumstances traveling this summer, particularly in Europe, than we've actually ever seen before. And with more people, you get more problems. But I think there's also a sense of making up for lost time, missed experiences. And I think exactly as you suggest, we've forgotten that actually we are guests. We need to respect the culture and the people of the places that we are going to. And I'm afraid all too easily, we just think, oh, we can just do what we like. Isn't freedom wonderful? Well, it is, as long as it's respectful and lawful.
So obviously there's no database tracking global tourist misbehavior. Has there actually been an increase in misbehavior, or are we just seeing more examples of it thanks to social media?
Well, that's a really good question. And unfortunately, social media, I think, is partly to blame because people love behaving badly and then circulating it online. And indeed, some of the people who have been responsible for bad behavior have actually been caught in that way. As long as tourism has been going on for really hundreds, maybe even a couple of thousand years, people have behaved badly when they have been in other countries, in other cultures. And indeed, there's ancient graffiti where visitors left their mark. So I guess it's sort of something in the human condition that makes us want to say, hey, I'm here, I'm somewhere exciting and different, and I want to leave proof that I've been here.
Thank you, Simon, so much for those insights into tourist misbehavior.
Thank you.
There's an app for everything nowadays, and one category shines brightest on most app stores. That's productivity. There are calendars, Pomodoro timers, to-do lists, note takers, habit trackers. The list is endless. These digital tools promise to organize your life, supercharge your productivity, help you focus, and sometimes achieve your dreams, all with a few clicks. The apps, and by extension, the productivity culture surrounding it, is so huge that it's taking over the internet. People are building whole new desk setups and buying extra screens and tablets just to make the most of their digitized headspaces. Targeting mostly students and young adults, these tools are the perfect study companion. Set a timer to focus, start ticking tasks off your list, and get work done. With every crossed off item, you feel a sense of achievement. But in reality, maybe not much work is getting done at all.
Before I knew that all of these apps existed, I was quite content with my simple yet suboptimal setup. But now that I know that all of these apps exist, I'm quick to find faults in my setup. My patience shrinks every millisecond longer it takes for a Notion page to load, or for every small feature that's missing in an app that I'm testing. In fact, even earlier this year, I spent so many nights trying to switch to Obsidian. When that didn't work, I did the same for another app. Yet the experience in reality never quite matched up to the idea that I had in my head, making me just more and more disappointed. I've fallen deep into that trap of being eternally unhappy with the tools that I have and wasting so much time trying to find something better. Yet here I am, back where I started.
Now onto an app that truly fulfills its promise, minus the distractions. This one in particular has been described as life-changing by the visually impaired. It's aptly called Be My Eyes, and as Sare reports, is now even more sophisticated after integrating AI tool ChatGPT.
Virtual volunteer. This is a picture of a can of John West sardines. The label is green and yellow and there is a wrinkle on the top of the can.
James Holton now has a much easier time with everyday tasks, thanks to an app called Be My Eyes. Holton was born with a visual impairment that eventually progressed to full blindness. He usually doesn't need much day-to-day assistance, but if he's alone and is in a hurry, Be My Eyes is just a few clicks away.
Sometimes the simplest things can be difficult, and we need a pair of eyes.
Connect to.
It connects more than 500,000 blind or visually impaired people like Holton with 6 million sighted volunteers to help with their everyday tasks.
It tends to be in daily situations like when I'm cooking food and want to have a look at tins, especially. Tins and cans with foodstuff can be very hard to ascertain what's in it.
And now, thanks to OpenAI's ChatGPT image-to-text generator, the app has gotten an AI-powered upgrade.
I think there are a lot of use cases where you may feel like you're burdening someone, like you don't for something that seems not important, or maybe it's it's just Monday morning, it's early in the morning, you don't feel like talking to a human being right now. In all those cases, right, you can just use AI now, and you're talking to a computer.
Users can send photos to the app's AI-assisted virtual volunteer, which provides almost instantaneous identification.
Virtual volunteer, yes. The cooking instructions for Barilla spaghetti, no.
Including follow-up questions such as cooking times.
How long time do I need to cook it?
The virtual volunteer can also identify the contents of a refrigerator and suggest recipes. For now, the virtual volunteer is still in closed beta testing and not available for widespread use.
I want to have a level of confidence that I don't necessarily have in unfamiliar spaces, that if the AI technology can help me gaining or regaining that level of confidence, that would really be something.
But it has the potential to transform the lives of visually impaired individuals like Holton, who hope to explore the world independently.
All right, our next story spans countries and cultures. If you haven't heard about them yet, let us introduce you to the Postcrossing community. This international online platform is a haven for postcard enthusiasts, offering the opportunity to send and receive postcards from random individuals around the globe. Today, the platform has over 804,000 members hailing from 210 different countries. It's remarkable to think that in this era of digital communication, there are still countless individuals who appreciate the charm of handwritten messages on postcards. Surprisingly, among them are Gen Z, who are mostly immersed in the world of social media and instant messaging.
Today I'm going to send a postcard to a lady who lives in Poland. She enjoys gardening and kokota, which she has explained is the Swedish word for waking up early and listening to the birds singing and enjoying nature. For the postcard, she wants to get a postcard that shows her who I am or resembles my personality, and I think I have one in mind. Out of those postcards, I will probably send her this one, but the card actually does resembles my personality, as I love writing cards and letters every day.
And if you're longing to connect with someone on the other side of the world, all you need to do is visit postcrossing.com. Signing up is free and you can remain anonymous while sharing only your address. A necessary detail, of course. Postcrossers often select a topic of mutual interest from a member's profile and send postcards that align with those interests. It's a simple and delightful way to exchange greetings and messages while abiding by the community's guidelines, which prohibit hate speech or inappropriate content. And that's our show. Find our latest stuff on YouTube and do subscribe to our channel. See you soon.